Fellas, absolutely let me know if I'm spitting anything but the truth in this video. The finale of The Amazing Digital Circus was a good episode, just not a good finale. We're gonna shoot and harvest the elephant in the room first. Jax was always an interesting character to me, but not enough to where all of these different episodes have to revolve around him, her, them. And spoilers, by the way, I don't know why you're watching this video if you haven't seen the actual episode. I really can't help but feel like Jax's entire character failed in the sympathy department. And by that I mean before the finale, I never bothered to rationalize Jax's actions or really garner any reason for it. And really I was just watching the episodes, kind of just accepting yeah, no, you're an ass. Glazing over that entire factor throughout the series made it easier to just watch him as comic relief. And while yes, throughout the series it was constantly alluding to some sort of depth within his character, the moment his character was actually explained and we got his backstory, it did not help him in the slightest. Jax is an asshole. They're responsible directly for the deaths of 2 people, and if they stayed alive, they probably would have been responsible for more. Getting abused is not a justified reason for snuffing out others' lives. And I understand that the mind file that was scanned by the Circus is a version of him that had all of these problems unresolved, and taking that deep-seated trauma and instead of molding past it, having that become a character attribute. It's not rocket science, but let's keep it a buck. He's the reason why Ribbon and Kaufmo are dead. Trauma can absolutely be a reason for you to become the worst version of yourself, but at the end of the day, it's still a choice to make. And because we actively see that these characters can live, grow, learn, and adapt past the people that they were when they entered the circus, that gives me even less reason to justify Jax. Speaking of the characters, I really wish we got to see more. I feel like certain aspects of the finale fall flat because of how little we got to see of them. For example, that moment where Pomni says to Ragatha, "You've always been one of my closest friends." We have never had any sort of indication that that was a factor in the previous episodes. I'm gonna be honest, they barely spent any time around each other. And yeah, sure, you could say all of that happened off screen, but then what the fuck? Why not show that? I really like Ragatha. I wish we got to see more of Zubul and Gangle. I'm gonna be honest with you. Half the time, I don't even remember that they're there. I understand what their characters are about and their arcs and whatnot, but in the presence of the show, they're an afterthought. Well, camera, how could you say that when Gangle got her own episode? And Zubul had that whole bar scene, that other scene with Gangle and Kane. See, that's the weird part. We got all of that, and I still feel like they're underdeveloped. Hell, even Kinger, for some reason, has more potency than they did. And more likely than not, the reason for that is his actual contribution to the lore and the plot of the entire show, forcing his character to be on the front lines of the narrative. But that kind of objective and narrative foundation with that character does not apply to Zubul or Gangle at all. They're just kind of there. And yeah, I know that they're there. I just kind of wish that they were there more. Also, side note, I do feel like there was a lot of weirdly anticlimactic moments in the finale, like opening the episode to revealing that they're mind scans. For me personally, at least, that just kind of came on a little bit dry. Personally, I would rather struggle with the idea of Kinger actually figuring out how to tell them, and at the very same time wrestling with it himself. Don't get me wrong, I understand that he's the oldest and therefore the most down-to-earth character in all of this, but it's still a very insane thing, and it's kind of just off to me that he doesn't even really give too much of a reaction, or if at the very least he did, we definitely don't see. My whole reaction to Jax abstracting was just, okay, well, that happened. And I understand what Goose wanted to do with this. Basically have it be this visceral feeling that hits you like a truck, but I never gave a shit about Jax, so I just didn't care. And while I do appreciate getting to see Ribbon in the majority of the episode and whatnot, using another part of the episode in order to just tell me hey, yo, this is why you should care if you want to about Jax, no, that did not help at all. Really, that only made me hate him more, and those flash forward memory scenes were just weird. What the fuck was that whole Gangle thing? Are you attracted to her? That's just a weird thing to shoot out there. The episode really started pulling itself back after we got Kane back, and I think after that point onward, I genuinely enjoyed what we got. I don't mind that Jack's backstory was in this episode, I just feel like it took up way too much of it. Would have loved to dive deeper into the concept of abstraction. Hell, I feel like we let go of the blue AI and the entire concept of Bubble being a fragment of that way too quickly. There's so much interesting things about the digital circus that I would have absolutely loved to see, and it's a real shame that with all of these interesting things introduced to us, we didn't get to see the end. But I will say this, them getting to see their real life selves and actually acknowledge the fact that, hey, you're actually okay out there in the real world and there is a version of you that is better, that actually almost did bring me to tears. I don't know, something about you being okay and or the fact that you're gonna be okay and actually being able to physically see that is something that hits a very interesting note for me. That's not a feeling that I thought I would be able to see in any sort of media, but the fact that it happened here was something amazing. This entire series was genuinely a joy to watch, and while yes, it's far from perfect, it never had to be. I just wish that the wrap-up was a little bit smoother. But let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, and smile for the cameraman.